Once again, we find ourselves in spooky season, where the drinks flow, we mutilate fruit for our enjoyment, and we listen to the same 3 Halloween songs on repeat. Thriller, Ghostbusters theme song, and Addams Family theme song. The fact that I just said theme song twice there is a problem. There's actually a surprising lack of Halloween-themed music that has made it into the mainstream. The fact that every time I go on and look for a Halloween playlist, the song Zombie by the Cranberries on there, to me, is a problem. Great song, not a Halloween song. The title is misleading. So this is where your good pal Renz is gonna come in and try and save your Halloween party playlist with 10 bangers from my personal collection. Some of which you'll have heard before, some of which are very famous, some of which are a little bit more obscure. Hopefully we can use this to tighten up your playlist and get people going, ooh, this really is Halloween. Number 10, Super Beast by Rob Zombie. Probably fairly predictable, there was gonna be a Rob Zombie song on there. I almost included Dragula, but the thing about that song is everybody knows it. That song's really, really great. It's about the monster's, car, but I feel like there are better Rob Zombie songs, especially ones that are more Halloween themed, and for some reason there's something about Super Beast I really like. The music video is very, very silly. It's kind of Rob Zombie doing lots of this at the camera, wearing kind of cool makeup. But the way that the kind of vocals come in towards the beginning, the shriek the lips across the ragged tongue. I don't know why, it always kind of gets me really in the mood, that very staccato, dong, 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 dong. It's got a very compelling, pushing beat, great for a party, get everybody's head nodding. It's got a very loud, emotive chorus. It's just an absolute banger. From Rob Zombie's first album still, to be fair, that first album is just particularly good. There's a bunch of other great songs on there as well. Living Dead Girl is fantastic, Meet the Creeper is great. It's a good album. Genuinely speaking, you can put that one anywhere, as long as people don't mind a bit of kind of hardcore, horror-themed industrial metal. Certainly ticks a few boxes for me. Number 9. This one is Insanity by Oingo Boingo. I feel like a lot of Halloween playlists and lists like this are going to include Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo, which is another absolute banger. But if you want to get proper creepy and weird, Insanity is your pick. You can really tell by listening to this song in particular, I think, that Danny Elfman was gonna go into making film music, and obviously a lot of Tim Burton stuff, lots of Halloween-y stuff. Insanity is just this intense, crazy, kind of like strange lyrically too. Like, the whole thing is quite dark. It's got interesting lyrics in it, like, I'd love to hear you laugh tonight, I'd love to hear you weep, I'd love to listen to you while you're screaming and you're sleeping. Good old Danny Elfman, the massively jacked genius. But that song, for some reason, it's got so much, it's sinister, there's a string section into it, it's like a nice little bell thing that kind of like goes back and forth. If you want something playing in the background that just screams kind of creepy and sort of, yeah, almost psychopathic, Insanity is the one for you. That is basically a film soundtrack song without being a film soundtrack song. Thank you, Oingo Boingo. Thank you, Danny Elfman, for everything you've done. Number 8. It Snows in Hell by Lordi. I could have picked a lot of Lordi songs. I feel like Hard Rock Hallelujah, despite being their most famous one, it's the one that they won Eurovision Song Contest with, but don't tell them, they get quite annoyed about being identified as that kind of band now.
It's getting to be already like kind of like a subject that we're really f***ing tired to talk about. In all honesty, for a rock band, it is also a burden to bury, when everybody's thinking just as Eurovision band.
They've got a couple of other ones that really, really kind of like cross the line lyrically into being like pretty dark. Like, I'm not going to go into the specifics, but they've got a song called Naked in My Cellar. Do with that information as you will. Shake the Baby Silent, that's another one. So I decided to go with one a little bit more on the wholesome side, because there's kind of shock rock and there's shock rock. So yeah, we're going to stick with It Snows in Hell. It's one of their slower, more ballady ones. It's got this massive, elating chorus. It's kind of like more emotional, I guess, but it's definitely got this kind of like Halloween twang to it. It's sort of like the one at the end of the Halloween film where the character is like kind of approaching the final monster. It's, oh, it snows in hell! And it has this amazing little da-dung, da-dung, this little offbeat section just after that big elating chorus. It's extremely satisfying to sing along to. It's just a great song. Lordi are fantastic. I love how they've managed to maintain their anonymity even still. Like almost every other band I know, that I can think of anyway, that plays with masks on, with maybe the exception of like Sleep Token, have had, you know, rumors and blah, 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 blah about who they are. And Lordi have just managed to maintain that mystique. I think I have done in the past a little bit of Googling and seen, you know, there's like one picture from the 90s that like, we think this guy might be Mr. Lordi. Other than that, nothing, which is something I absolutely respect. Lordi are great. They just continue to pump out music too. They've been going for so long. That first album was in 2006, and they are still releasing music. Like, they released an album called Limited Edition this year that actually does have some bangers on it. If you want to just listen to a full, great Halloween-themed album, to start with, honestly, just take your pick with Lordi. But honestly, the one that just came out, Limited Edition, pretty good time. I'd recommend it, even though maybe one of their older ones like Collection or Sexorcism is better. Still, Lordi are fantastic. If you're into that kind of stuff, I would highly recommend them. Number 7. This one's a little bit more of an obscure pick, and it's actually a song by a band that I don't know anything about. I just know this song, and I really like it. It's called Cut Me Down by the Dharmas. I just think this came on randomly when I was at the gym, maybe. It kind of shuffled on after I finished whatever playlist I was listening to, and I guess maybe Spotify's figured out that, yeah, kind of put something vaguely kind of horror-y or kind of killer-inspired in there, I will jump on it. And that is the case with Cut Me Down. It's kind of like this punk rocky inspired, like it's definitely got a bit of kind of Blink-182 and sort of stuff going on in there, with maybe a bit of emo mixed in there, but it's got this kind of like quite silly, like, I want to cut you down tonight. The bit that absolutely cemented this song for me is it's got a badass key change in it. Towards the end, you get that final chorus, everything kind of drops out for a second, and then suddenly everything goes up like a semitone, and it's just, you just want to punch the air while it's going along. That song slaps. I should really look into more by the Dharmas. I don't really know why I haven't. I think maybe I had a very brief skip through while I wasn't really paying attention and ended up not being too impressed. So who knows, I'm sure there are some Dharmas fans in the audience who will let me know some other bangers, but Cut Me Down is great. You should definitely include that on your playlist. Number 6. Here's a deep cut from the 90s. Do any of you remember the band Space? I imagine with most people, you're gonna get a synapse in your memory fire off with that band. You'll know Female of the Species, you know. The female of the species is more deadly than the male. Great band. They were very, very formative for me when I grew up. Second album, Tin Planet, is just a banger. Pretty much every song on that album slaps. I've actually seen Space live like 4 or 5 times, including a moment where I actually sang on stage with them for the Ballad of Tom Jones, but that's a story for a different day. We're talking about their song, Mr. Psycho, which is off their first album, Spiders. Also a really good album. Quite bizarre. I feel like they kind of tightened up the format and kind of maybe figured out how to sell some records a little bit more with Tin Planet, their second one, but Mr. Psycho is wonderful. It starts with a really interesting sample from The Shining.
What'll it be? I'm awfully glad you asked me that, Lloyd.
And the whole thing is very kind of like low-key and like insidious. It's like you're in the mind of a psycho. Tommy Scott's vocal performance in that song is massively underrated. The way he's able to kind of like do this weird kind of sing-song way with all these people are laughing at him, and although he tries, it's getting to him.
All these people are laughing at him, and although he tries, it's getting to him.
Just the way he's able to like really capture what it feels like to be inside the head of this character, Mr. Psycho. It's actually really clever. And just lyrically, I really like bits like, and his fingers are getting itchy now.
And his fingers are getting itchy now.
It's so clever, the way that he's able to like make it really feel like you're being stalked. Just the mixing on this song. And because it's space, you've got loads of kind of strange, weird synth stuff going on in the background. It's not too intense, I'd have said, but you just have this going through in the background, which is really, really effective. It's just a great, great song for making you feel a little bit unsettled. Really recommend it. The whole album's fantastic. Space are massively underrated, especially Tin Planet. I encourage everyone to go over there, show them a bit of love. They seem to be touring like all the time at the moment. I've met them all. They're great guys. Really recommend Space. Number 5. Another one that I'm not sure people would expect from this band, and that is Killer by the Hoosiers.
Kiss yourself goodnight, 'cause there's a killer and he's coming after you.
2007 was such an interesting moment in pop history, and the Hoosiers were on top of it. I actually re-listened to their first album again yesterday because I was getting quite nostalgic for it. That album slaps. Everybody is aware of Worried About Ray and Goodbye Mr. 8, even though, goddamn, I now realise I've got colleagues that are younger than this album, but at the time it seemed like the young, cool indie thing to be into. Pretty much, this entire album, The Trick to Life, is fantastic. The lead singer of the Hoosiers' voice is really, really impressive. He goes high and emotive. There are a lot of great songs on this album that are like emotional and weird compared to the like, you know, more mainstream ones with Worried About Ray and Cops and Robbers, actually, and so on and so forth. But the one that I want to bring to you today is Killer. It's so like kind of sleazy, which again is not something I think on paper you'd associate with the Hoosiers, but it's got these weird lyrics.
I hate my work, but I'm in control. I'm fearless now, but it cost my soul.
It's similar to Mr. Psycho in this singing from the perspective of like a kind of psychopath killer type character, and it's kind of this almost sing-song but like a little bit off key, and then suddenly you get these great choruses. You've got these very stabbing chords from the organ, the dunk 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 dunk. It's surprisingly effective as a sort of theatric song based around, well, a killer, which is not something I think most people would associate with the Hoosiers. It's kind of a shame those guys just never ever managed to recapture the power of their first album. Those couple of big singles on there, I'm sure, are making them live quite happy now, but there's a lot of talent in that first album. There's a lot of talent in his voice. I really think that people should give that album in its entirety a second go, but definitely think about including Killer on your Halloween playlist this year. Number 4. Another comparatively obscure pick to those who don't know them, 66 and 6 by Dr. Colossus. Now, those who don't know, Dr. Colossus are a Simpsons-themed doom metal band. Yes, that's right, there's more than one Simpsons-themed band. Oakley Dokley, I'm sorry, they're okay. Dr. Colossus are the real deal. Their music is objectively awesome. I don't know whether or not they would ever be able to achieve some of the heights they've gotten to without the Simpsons theming, but honestly, the music really, really stands on its own. There's many, many great songs on those albums. The doom metal kind of stuff is just so well executed. It's got these big fat sounds going across the entire thing. They've actually got like 2 quite good Halloween-y songs. I wasn't quite sure which one to go with. They've actually got a song they've just released, or released comparatively recently, called Can't Sleep, the Clowns Will Eat Me, which is actually great. But 66 and 6 is the song that got me into this band. It's so clever, the way that they kind of twist this weird Simpsons narrative. It's about Rod and Todd, it's sort of like falling to the devil. They've got some really interesting lyrics in it as well. There's references to their mum dying and the whole repeated refrain of "We're not going to church, it's Saturday." We're not going to church, it's Saturday. It's so tongue-in-cheek, but honestly, if you didn't know it was about The Simpsons and you kind of tuned out just a little bit, it's a pretty compelling, just straight up doom metal song, if I'm honest. It's really, really clever. It's got these big, fat, heavy chords. The vocalist is actually really, really good. This is a band that deserves to be significantly bigger than they are. So if you take one thing from this video, go show Dr. Colossus some love, because they absolutely deserve it. That band is awesome. That song is awesome. Include it on your playlist. Number 3. Now we're going to be moving into some territory that is possibly a little bit more predictable, but hey, I'm only human. You have to include this kind of stuff, and these are all, unironically, some of my favorite songs, including number 3's pick, Don't Fear the Reaper. Don't Fear the Reaper is not just one of my favorite Halloween songs, it's actually just one of my favorite songs, full stop. I was obsessed with this album when I was growing up. The album artwork for Agents of Fortune is amazing. Pretty much every track on that album is awesome, but obviously Don't Fear the Reaper is the most important one. Well, it's the most Halloween-y one, I guess. There's that cowbell, that goddamn cowbell. Interestingly, I've listened to that song a lot of times over the years. The lyrics are significantly more wholesome than I think most people realize. It's not so much about let's all die, blah, blah, blah. It's more about the idea of love transcending death, which I actually find to be really, really wholesome. This kind of idea that Romeo and Juliet, whilst their life was tragic, will meet forever in eternity.
Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity.
sweet sentiment, even though I think actually on deeper analysis, the last verse with the came a last night of sadness and all that, I think that might be about somebody unaliving themselves, which is obviously, you know, quite dark. Anyway, the song is just a classic, just that particular riff, the do-do-do-do, just that constant repeat, that dung, that one note that just rings out pretty much through the entire thing is awesome. The cowbell, whilst a bit of a meme, actually does work really, really well, and one of the greatest intros to a guitar solo you will ever hear. The guitar solo for this song is blinding. Every time it puts the shivers up in the back of my neck. I know it sounds a little bit of a cliche, but don't fear the Reaper. You just can't go wrong with a classic. It's as famous as it is for a reason. Number 2. I was debating which song by Alice Cooper I was going to include. It feels like Poison is too easy, and also, honestly, if you're gonna go with like pure Halloween-y, not that Halloween inspired, lyrically at least. It's, you know, their biggest song, obviously, but I felt like picking something that was a little bit more specifically horror themed. So I could have gone with Feed My Frankenstein. I've covered that song live, it's a banger, but you know what? I thought, let's go with something a little bit weirder. So I'm gonna pick This Maniac's in Love With You. It's actually off the same album as Poison, Trash. The album's great, the whole album is great. I almost picked a couple of other songs from this album too, but This Maniac's in Love With You is this perfect mixture of kind of like fun and silly, and it's got those like weird lyrics kind of like speaking into your ear. Alice Cooper's being the most Alice Cooper-y he can be, all those I'm gonna talk like this in your ear kind of stuff, which is always fun. It's got a catchy chorus. It's kind of like this back and forth type situation there. Maniac in Love With You, great song. Alice Cooper's just the best. I love so much Alice Cooper stuff, if I'm honest. In fact, the original Alice Cooper band has just reformed and released an album. It also bangs. I would recommend checking that one out too. Number 1. It was gonna be a ghost song, wasn't it? It was gonna be a ghost song. I'm sorry to be predictable, but they are one of my favorite bands, if not my favorite band ever. I've even dressed up as Papa Emeritus multiple times on Halloween. Insert cringy pictures here. I've seen them live like 5 times. They have got such a massive catalogue of great songs. I was really struggling to pick out one that was like the most quintessentially Halloween-y. After much deliberation, I figured Year Zero has got to be it. Is pretty much the most overtly satanic song I think they've ever released. The opening chorus with this Beelzebub, 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 Beelzebub. It's so on the nose in the best possible way. It's got a really weird music video too, actually. There's like Papa 2 just kind of comes out and then a bunch of women's gonna like strip him and then you see his willy at the end. Very, very strange, but very compelling. It's got such an interesting kind of like timbre to it the whole way through. It's got this very quite, like way more intense kind of rhythm to it than you'd expect it to. It's it stays pretty much the whole way through. It's quite intense, but that chanting section is coming back. I've seen it live many, many times, and I will say, actually, of all the Ghost songs, it's been the most consistently amazing live too. It's just a spectacle. And then this big Hail Satan. It's everything you want in a Halloween song and more. There are so many other candidates for Ghost. I love the band, but this is my pick. That is my selection of 10. Obviously, this is just my personal choice. I tried to avoid stuff that was like slightly too well-known, I guess, just to try and make things a little bit more interesting, so don't get mad at me because I didn't include the Ghostbusters theme song. I hope I maybe showed you guys a few new bands or a few new songs you can whack on your spooky playlist this year and have a good time. Any other recommendations, let me know what your favourite Halloween songs are in the comment section below. That would be amazing. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that crazy stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.